this is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and I want to tell you about something very, very special. Saturday, May 4th, please join me for Podathon 2024. That is a day-long charity podcasting event that raises money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The day is going to be filled with all kinds of amazing shows, awesome guests, and lots of fun. So please mark your calendars for May 4th. And if you want more information, visit the website www.thepodathon.com. That's right, and you'll learn more about how you can donate directly to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I can't wait to see you there, and may the 4th be with you.
Well, welcome to ATGLive, the live Thursday night home for you, for everybody who loves Star Wars to come and hang out, talk about all things Star Wars. We talk about the news of the week. We have special guests, and tonight I am joined not by Nick. Nick is out and about. I don't know where he is. He may be on a secret mission to Alderaan, or he could just be just hanging out in the hills of Alabama. I don't know, but luckily I am joined by my good friend, our producer. We let him out of the basement for this week. Producer Lloyd. Lloyd, how are you doing, buddy?
Are you proud of me now, Mama? I'm on the main stage. It's nerve-wracking, all the lights.
Well, you do have a Twitch channel, a very successful Twitch channel. And so the difference between this and Twitch, though, is you just can't drop F-bombs at things when they don't go the way you want them to go. Right?
You underestimate the power of the dark side, okay?
But so tonight's going to be a really great night. We have a lot going on tonight. But before we get started, just want to remind you to hit your social media channels. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at ATGcast and everywhere else. I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I'm rebelling. But you can follow us there. But everywhere else, you can find us at the SSW Network. You can also head to our website, theSSWnetwork.com. You're going to find links to become a patron. You can also find links for our merch. And if you use the code SHILL15, that's not a joke, it's true, SHILL15, you'll get 15% off your entire order on everything on the website. You saw there at the beginning, we had our link, our commercial, one of our commercials for the upcoming Podathon. Podathon is coming on May the 4th. It is an all-day event where we and some of our friends who are podcasters, I'm going to bring up the list here just so I don't screw it up. We have Tarkin's Top Shelf. Of course, Becca Benjamin is really close to and helping us out. Father Son Galaxy has an amazing guest, which we're going to announce in the next day or two. Broaxium, Relatable Nerds, Virtual Cantina, Thank the Maker, Full of Sith, the Yub Nub Podcast, Dyad, in the Force. You also know them. That's our friend Darth Chaco. And we also have Wikipedia involved in everything we have going on. So we're pretty excited about that. Make sure to join us. You can donate today by going to bit.ly/Podathon24. For every $10 you donate, you're going to get a entry into an opportunity to win some amazing prizes from Lucasfilm, Denuo Novo, Regal Robot, Chronicle Books, Inside Editions. Our friends Brian and Holly Fry have made an incredible donation as well for prizes. So great prizes. Oh, signed books. You can get a Vanessa Marshall signature. You can get a signed book from Kelly Knox. She just reached out to us today and said I'd be happy to donate that. So that'll be great. But make sure to join us for that. Are you going to be around on May the 4th, Lloyd? Are you going to be able to hang out?
Well, let me look at my calendar.
Even if you're not, we're just happy that if you can, pop in, because you may want to, donate so you can win some. The Denuo Nova one is really, every year there's something I'm like, I really want that. That would be a great one to win, and they're giving away the X-wing helmet, and it's got that you can customize, which is pretty freaking wild. And Regal Robot is giving away the metal signs, the Star Wars poster. So really great stuff. And amazing guests, guys. I cannot wait till I can share who exactly we have on that list. It's going to be pretty amazing. So keep your eyes out on the socials. We'll be there for that. We have an amazing guest tonight as well. We have Graham E. Hancock. He's a Lego expert. He's a Star Wars fan, and he's the author of this Lloyd, have you seen this book that's coming out? It's going to be available for pre-order on May 1st.
I did.
Oh my gosh, called Force of Creativity.
I did, and I love that it folds out. It looks like it's like heavy duty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks like, it looks like you could, if you drop it too hard on the floor, all your Legos are going to fall off the wall and you're going to have to redo them.
It's labeled as a coffee table book.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that if you tried hard enough, it could be just the coffee table.
Right. Just pop some Lego legs on the bottom of it.
It looks really good.
I think we should recommend that. We should recommend that to Graham when he calls in. But that's going to be coming up after the news. But Lloyd, why don't we take our first break, and when we come back, we'll hit you with the news stories of the week. But we'll be back with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. We talk about the news, we talk about the whatever's happening. We have guests, and we do have some news to get to. So, Lloyd, I'm just gonna quit the chatter, Red 2, and I'm gonna let's go straight to that news.
Got you.
Well, our first story tonight is Tony Gilroy says that Andor season 2 is important. Look, I'm saying it just like Lutheran Rail. Andor. Over the weekend, screenwriter Tony Gilroy was honored with the Ian McClellan Hunter Award for Career Achievement at the Writers Guild of America Awards. Gilroy, known for his dedication to storytelling, expressed gratitude for the recognition. And during a press junket following the event, Gilroy shared his insights on Andor Season 2, the eagerly anticipated Star Wars series he's leading. In a video posted by the WGA, the Writers Guild East account, Gilroy reflected on his involvement, stating, quote, "I've been on Andor for 5 years now. I don't know if I've ever done anything as important as these 24 hours of storytelling we're doing now." Andor, envisioned as a 24-episode saga, faced setbacks due to last year's strikes, delaying its release to an undetermined date yet to be revealed in 2025. Gilroy's commitment to the project stems from his passion for storytelling and his activism within the Writers Guild. This passion project, initially considered too ambitious for streaming, showcases Gilroy's creative freedom and commitment to the vision. With Andor set to delve deep into themes and political messaging, Gilroy's influence promises to be a captivating journey for audiences. I think that's a bit of an understatement. Lloyd, he says that Andor is important. What do you think he means by that?
I think he's trying to tell like the next evolution of Star Wars storytelling.
Yep.
And I say that because Andor was so far beyond what we've ever gotten that it was like it reminded me of Back to the Future. Like, do you like that? Well, your kids are gonna love it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was just weird, but it was good in a weird way. You know,
for sure. It's funny. I before I started Fallout and just finished Fallout today, which was the show, not the game, the show, which was freaking amazing. I started rewatching Andor. And honestly, watching it again a couple years, or I guess a year and a half plus or minus since it ended, it's incredible. It's incredible to look at. The pacing, which we thought was slow at the time, is brilliant. It's perfect. Once you know that whole story, when you go back to it, it just feels really different. Have you watched it since the first go around?
I have, and actually gained a greater appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Like when I first started watching it, I was like, I don't know, because when I think of Star Wars, I think of the Rebels, the
Sure.
Empire, Death Star, X-wings, TIE fighter. But this was so different.
Yeah.
And it was just enough to keep me coming back. And I just gained much greater appreciation for it.
What are you hoping for in season 2?
I want it to end right when we see him introduced in Rogue One.
Like on the Rings of Kafrene? Is that what it is?
I think so, yeah. And I want to see I want to see him going from a hesitant hero, not not one that's fully committed quite yet, but I want to see him kind of not devolve, but kind of go down like the darker path that people don't really know about the rebellion. I want to see him go from where he is to how we get him in Rogue One.
Do you think they will retcon the comic books and give us K2SO?
No.
I
think he's done.
Really?
Yeah, because they never say anything about his memory chip, core, nothing. They just, he's dead, and then Scarif gets wiped off the map.
But do you think we'll see him in the series? Do you think we'll see him in season 2?
In a flashback, yeah, I think.
Okay.
But not anything more than a flash. Yeah, not anything more than a flashback, to be honest.
Okay, that's cool. I do really hope we see him because he's one of my favorites. Last question: my favorite character from the film, Orson Krennic. Will we get him?
Again, I think in a flashback. I think it's going to be more of like when they're putting his character plot forward, they're going to be like, okay, this is how he overcame this guy, and so on. So
sort of putting it on the table there.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Good. All right. Well, our next story for the evening is about the Acolyte. Surprise, surprise. Every single week we've got more Acolyte news. But this week, the Acolyte aims to outdo the Phantom Menace. The cast and crew of the Acolyte are igniting excitement with their dedication to lightsaber duels. Daphne Keane, who we know from Logan, plays a major role in the Acolyte, and she has expressed ambitions to surpass the iconic duel of the Fates from the Phantom Menace. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, she praised the Darth Maul duel as the pinnacle of Star Wars fights, but aimed to elevate the intensity with the Acolyte. She emphasized the uniqueness of each character's fighting style, promising memorable sequences tailored to personality traits. However, Keane confessed to some challenges, including unintentionally mimicking lightsaber sounds, which I think every actor who's ever picked up a lightsaber has done, and struggling to maintain a serious demeanor during filming. Despite the hurdles, Keane reminisced about her childhood dreams of wielding a lightsaber, now fulfilled through rigorous training and collaboration with an exceptional stunt team. With the Acolyte set for release on June the 4th, fans are eagerly awaiting whether or not it fulfills this promise of epic lightsaber battles and delivers more to the Star Wars lore. Lloyd, the trolls, of course, came out when they read this. We'll probably talk about that in a second, but let's start with this question. Is the Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi fight the best lightsaber duel ever? And if not, which is your favorite? I'm just putting you on the spot here. Welcome to the chair, Lloyd. Welcome.
This hot seat sucks. No, so I think thematically it's important, but I don't think it's the greatest.
No. Okay, so what is your favorite?
Return of the Jedi, Luke versus Vader.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I say that because during that fight, Luke redeems his father. And it's something that Obi-Wan never did, something Ahsoka never did. But during that fight, he showed the Emperor, I ain't falling for what you did to my father. And Vader sees that and is like, oh, I done messed up.
He's doing it right. He's doing it right.
Like, my son is everything I wanted to be, and I think that is the most important lightsaber fight in all of the saga.
I will
die on this hill.
I will say this because I was 13, I was 12 when Return of the Jedi came out. And I remember being an old guy. I remember the 3 years between movies and me and my best friend doing the early days of fan theories. And I remember like seeing the photo of Luke and Vader coming out of the elevator. Like that was in Starlog. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. And literally that was where that lightsaber duel was the duel that literally helped me understand the phrase edge of my seat. Because I remember the first time I saw it, I was literally on the edge of my seat, gripping the armor, like what is going to happen? All that said, I think the Phantom Menace duel is one of the most technically brilliant. Um, and it like Return of the Jedi. Tell me if you agree with this. Like Return of the Jedi, I feel like it does a nice job of telling a story through the movements of the fight. It's not just the fight, right? Because we see
Yeah.
Obi-Wan flirt with the dark side. Really, I mean, when he comes at when he comes at Maul with two hands slashing down, that's some dark side shit happening right there.
Yeah, that was straight anger.
Yeah,
And I think that was the closest we've ever seen Obi-Wan really touch
right.
the dark side.
Yep.
So,
And I but I would say a close like top 3
mhm.
would have to be the one from Rebels when he faces Maul again.
Oh, yeah, the Akira Kurosawa,
Yeah.
like, 3 slash you're over.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yep. I
That was
love
amazing. I thought that was top 10 or top 3 for me as well, actually.
Yeah. Oh, so great. So
Yeah.
great. And again, this is the cool thing about the way Star Wars uses the lightsaber battles is they use them to tell the story. It's not just pure action, which is
Yeah.
great.
I think it's Return, that one, Twilight Princess, and then Revenge of the Sith for me.
And who knows, maybe something from the Acolyte, according to
Yeah.
what they're saying. We'll see
Mhm.
how that goes. All right. Well, let's get to our next story, which I know, Lloyd, you're going to have some thoughts on. Uh, Star Wars video game, called Outlaws, is going into a little controversial territory already. Let's talk video games. Ubisoft finds itself in the crosshairs of controversy over its even yet to be released Star Wars game Outlaws, and specifically its season pass situation. The crux of the issue lies in this exclusive Jabba's Gambit mission, gated behind the premium editions, priced at $109.99 for Gold Edition and $130 for the Ultimate Edition. This move has triggered a backlash among players questioning the fairness of locking substantial content behind a paywall, not a payroll. Maybe it is a payroll. Maybe that's what they're doing. In response to the outcry, Ubisoft has sought to reassure fans by emphasizing the pivotal role of Jabba the Hutt in the overall gaming experience, irrespective of which edition you purchase. And according to a spokesperson's statement to IGN, Jabba and the Hutt cartel are integral components of the narrative, promising involvement for all players. However, ambiguity continues around this scope of Jabba's Gambit mission, leaving standard edition buyers not sure about what they may be missing. And while Ubisoft has hinted at opportunities for players to engage with Jabba, the specifics remain undisclosed. Star Wars Outlaws is slated for release on August 27th with those 3 different levels of price. Lloyd, tell me what you're thinking on this. I have opinions, but I want your opinions because you are our Twitch guy, our gaming guy. What are your thoughts?
From a consumer standpoint, it's a slap in the face.
Mm.
From a fan standpoint, it's a mild tap on the face. But if you're kind of indifferent to where it's going to go, you're not going to, it's not going to bother you. For me, I think it's ridiculous. I'm going to be honest. I think it is absolutely ridiculous that there's an entire story mission, because we don't know how long the main campaign is. From what I'm hearing so far, Outlaws is going to be Far Cry, but Star Wars. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep.
Typically those games you can complete in 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you point A to point B, don't do anything extra, and that's cool. But it's Star Wars and I want to explore it, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
the fact that they're saying that Jabba is going to be integral and all of that kind of stuff, Ubisoft has the track record really of saying something is integral, and he's in there for one plot point and that's it.
Yeah.
And people are just upset that they're, and rightfully so to a certain extent. Why do I have to pay $40, $45, $50 more on top of a $70 game to get a single mission, which may contain more content of this character than what they're actually putting into the base game?
Yeah.
It's the questions that they're not answering that are making a lot of people upset.
I agree with that. The ambiguity is the problem, but I also think that I don't know. I mean, isn't that kind of the way of games now, though? Like you have to kind of expect in a way, and I'm not trying to defend Ubisoft because I'm not the expert on Bethesda is kind of like my gold standard, and they tend to do a lot of DLC, which is reasonably priced, if not free. But is this? I mean, what do you think the fans want? Like, what would make them happy? To kill the $130 version and just make it all available, or what do you think?
The mission should be in the game. It should be. That should just be included in the base. You're paying $70. Get it in the base game. Everything else past that point, sure, charge it, whatever. Right? But a single mission is your selling point for a $40, $45 season pass? Like, are you insane?
I do have to say, right, if it is just a single mission for the season pass,
that's what it is. Yeah.
That is a little hard to swallow, but I'm
Yeah.
curious to see. I almost feel like, it's got to be more than that. But
Well, there's two expansions, right, that they have
Right.
planned. The problem is we don't know what they are, how long they are, what it contains, nothing.
Right.
But they're saying, don't worry, there's a single player mission involved in this. Like,
yeah,
that's where it's like, why? Why are you doing this?
what are you doing to us?
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion on it other than the fact that I'm probably going to buy the expensive one because that's me. That's what I do. I'm going to buy this stupid because it says Star Wars on it, and I'm a shill. I have to do what I got to do. But I'm gonna be there
too, and I hate to say it. Like, I'm taking
right,
a stand,
you're
but I'm
gonna do it
anyway.
See, that's just it. You're gonna do it. Oh my gosh!
Anything Star Wars, I'm gonna get.
That's
entertainment wise,
kind of the way it is. Yep. All right, well, let's hit our last news story, and then when we come back, we will be joined by our guest Graham E. Hancock. But let's go through this story. This story is directly related. Lego is celebrating 25 years with Lucasfilm. The Lego Group and Lucasfilm are keeping the force strong as they mark 25 years of collaboration with a galaxy of celebrations. Revealed are new offerings, including the Lego Star Wars TIE Interceptor building set, which I'm now going to have to buy, set to launch on May the 4th, the hallowed Star Wars Day. The TIE Interceptor, a flagship model of the UCS series since 2000, returns in a revamped form, boasting intricate details faithful to the Return of the Jedi version. This 1,931-piece behemoth includes an exclusive TIE pilot minifigure and a mouse droid, mounted on a stand with a commemorative plaque. In addition to this, fans can look forward to other immersive experiences, including Lego Star Wars content coming from Fortnite on May the 3rd, and a new Lego Star Wars coffee table book, which we will be talking to its author in just a few minutes, available for pre-order on May the 1st. And I'm telling you, if you don't get it on May the 1st, you're not going to get it. Mike Alacqua, who is the head of product for Lego Star Wars, expressed excitement for the upcoming festivities, inviting fans to participate in the 25-second film festival where they can recreate iconic Star Wars moments with Lego sets. With a range of exclusive offers and events, the galaxy far, far away awaits you at Lego on May the 4th. Lloyd, let's start with this question. Are you a Lego guy?
Not as much as I once was, but
okay.
These UCS ones are making me seriously second guess on whether or not most of my money is going towards video games or Legos now. And I saw this TIE Interceptor and I went, no, there goes more money.
Yeah, I think I feel like the Interceptor is going to go really nicely with my A-Wing, which is one of my favorite sets ever, and the X-Wing, which I'm yet to build, which is still sitting on my floor. I have to say, so you know that I used to be just a ridiculous Funko collector. Like if it said Funko on it and it had a Star Wars logo, I was buying it. Often I was buying more than one, but I kind of moved by that. And the strange thing is my reason for it was I'm running out of room. And I wasn't running out of room. I was running out of room because I wanted to display them. Now here's the thing. I had shelves worth of Funkos in the basement, and now I have shelves worth of built Lego Star Wars in my office, which is just outside the door here. And I sold all my Funkos. I did. I finally found a dealer. I didn't make
that
much
makes it
money
sound
on
like it's a drug, man.
It does. I kicked the habit. I kicked the Funko habit. I found a new dealer, but now the problem is now I'm like, oh well, I can just get more Lego sets. I literally have 6 sets sitting outside the door right now that are unopened and unbuilt, and I'm like, I'm gonna have time to do it, and I'm gonna make the time. But no, I think they're a different way to engage with Star Wars for some reason. Do you have any particular, like, do you have any, you did the you and I were talking about the X-Wing helmet, the what is that the last one you built? Or
yeah, so I have the Captain Rex helmet too. And those were the last 2 Lego sets I actually ever built.
Yeah.
And they took me about 20 years. See, I used to play with Legos all the time as a kid, and then I graduated into Warhammer, and now I paint, little blue plastic things, and
Oh, see, I
now
don't. It's funny. I don't have the patience for the painting stuff at all. At all.
yeah, but now I'm seeing all these like collector sets, and I'm like, man. And I saw the TIE Interceptor, and that might be the one that makes me actually go out and
That's the
spend
one's going to push you over the edge.
$500-$600 because I saw that thing, and it's big.
It's big,
It's
and
big.
I'm still trying to make
Yeah.
up. I'm trying to make a valid excuse to buy the walker. That's really the one that I want.
The AT-AT.
But yeah.
At. That way I can cover both sides of that argument.
That way everybody's happy. Yeah.
The AT-AT.
There's just so many. We want them all. But well, that's going to do it for the news this week. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to keep the Lego conversation going. If you are joining us in the chat, or you're watching us on Twitter, or you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're checking us out, and you end up and you're watching us talk to Graham in just a couple minutes, and you have Lego questions or comments, we want to hear them. We want to bring them to Graham as well. But we will be back in just 1 minute with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're hanging out with us on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube, thanks for doing so. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, all the things that I'm obligated as a live stream host to ask you to do. But please do it. And as you saw, May the 4th is coming up, and so is Podathon. So please consider being a part of Podathon with us. But I don't want to keep our guest waiting because he's in the UK, and if I'm doing the math right, it is very late at night or early in the morning for him. So let's Lloyd, let's bring in our guest. We are joined by Graham Hancock. How are you, Graham?
I am awesome. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Any excuse to talk Lego and Star Wars, I'm here for that.
Oh, that's great. I saw you posting about the book, and then I did some research on the book, or tried to find what I could on immediately, and then I reached out to you, and I was like, I got to talk to him about this book. I gotta know. He got to do one of the coolest Star Wars books you can do. So, and I'm really honored that you're taking the time. It's either late or early there, depending on how you look at it.
I work on a magazine. I work on a monthly magazine, so late nights approaching deadlines are an entirely normal thing to me. My sleep pattern is not standard. It's not advised.
Well, that's good. Well, let me just start by telling us a little bit about your Star Wars story. How did you get into Star Wars? When did you see Star Wars? What's some of your earliest experiences with it?
Yeah, so I was a kid in the 90s, so I saw Star Wars on TV, and I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I started buying a few action figures and things. But it was going to see Star Wars Special Edition in the cinema that converted me. That was when I fell in love with it. Like that flipped the switch in my head. That was when I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's my favorite thing. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi Special Editions, seeing all of those, like, not only did it make me fall in love with Star Wars, but it really showed me like the cinematic experience and why that's special. Because seeing those films, obviously on a cinema screen is so different to watching them on TV.
Yeah.
And especially when you think of what TVs used to be like, and the box in the corner, it wasn't the same.
Right, like when the special editions came out, and that poster or that commercial where the X-Wing flies out of the television, and they said this is the way it was meant to be seen, for sure. Are you going to catch Phantom Menace when it comes back in the theaters that weekend?
Yeah, we've got our tickets for Leicester Square, London.
Oh, nice.
To see it on the biggest screen that we can get.
That's great. That's great.
I mean, that was like the Phantom Menace again. Like, seeing the special editions as a kid and realizing what this was. And then having the hype for the Phantom Menace at that age was just absolutely perfect. So the Phantom Menace in particular has such a special place in my heart, and getting to see that again at the cinema, again, just any opportunity to do it.
It's so interesting to me because I know the white beard doesn't give it away, but I saw Star Wars in 1977 as a 7-year-old, and the prequel trilogy. I actually was doing some work for some of the Lucasfilm publications at the time, so I was at the premieres of all three in New York City, and it's funny. I walked out of Phantom Menace, and I'm able to admit it now. And I was like, I don't know what I just saw. I don't know if I loved it. And I was kind of, and I don't want to say a prequel hater, because that's just horrible to say. Because now, honestly, if I'm going to throw a film in a Star Wars movie of all 9 of the saga films, there's a good chance that I'm choosing Phantom Menace at this point. I just feel like I get it now. It's just such a fun movie, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was so nice for me to have that as the kind of the entry point to like my Star Wars, because this wasn't something that my parents had introduced me to. Like once it was the Phantom Menace, it was like this was something that I was getting to experience firsthand. And then getting to go through Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, like, you know, going through those teenage years and everything with it was really cool. It gave me that opportunity to really engage with it and really kind of go along for the ride with it all.
Awesome. Cool.
Well, I think that leads me to my next question, actually, because I'm trying to wrap my head around the bridge that you had to go from Star Wars to Lego, and I'm just kind of curious how you made that connection to where you are now.
Well, it was for me as a kid, like Lego Pirates and Lego Western and all of these things. I was growing up with them, just having a great time with them, like, you know, taking over the living room, building all of this stuff up, having these epic kind of sea battles, and, you know, like all this kind of playtime with Lego. But then when I was getting to, I don't know, about 10 years old or something, I was a kind of like, I was a kid who was like trying to grow up too quickly. And in some ways it was great, because I was reading Star Wars novels, I was getting Star Wars comics and accessing all of that. But then it made me think that, like, oh, I need to stop playing with Lego. Like, you know, I'm too old for this now. This is, you know, completely the opposite to how I am now, because now, you know, I'm the grown adult with a house full of it and all the rest of it. Like, but the one thing in the world that could keep me in Lego at that time was Star Wars. And then sure enough, I walk into Toys R Us, I see the end cap of Lego Star Wars, the first ever sets. I had no idea they were coming. And it just blew my mind. My 2 favorite things coming together in that way. It was just like, and I could justify it because I'm collecting this now. I'm not playing with it like I played with it. This is collecting. This is different. This is somehow okay.
They're not dolls. They're action figures. We've all had to have that internal discussion, you know.
Well, and then you grow up and realize that it's perfectly legit just to be an overgrown kid and enjoy this stuff for what it is. Like, that's, you know, the healthy relationship I have with it now. But it's it's just that funny mindset you have when you're a kid and you start to feel embarrassed by this stuff, and then
Yeah, and there's something about Star Wars that allows you to, you know, I guess it's, you know, there's something about Star Wars you always, the way I look at it is, it feels like you want to own something from that. I mean, I have a weird helmet obsession, as you can see behind me, and this Lego obsession, and I think any entree, and I think that's why it also carries into adults being collectors and things like that. And yeah, it's okay. Like if somebody would walk into that office that sees the six sets on the floor, they're going to think they're for my 11-year-old son. No, they're not. They're for me, and I'm going to get to them when I get to them. And leave me alone. Let me do them.
So they'll get finished when they're finished.
Right, they'll be done when they're done, and yeah, I'll get to them. So it's funny you say that though about the pirates and those sort of things, because it was around 99 when Lucasfilm and Lego, you know, if I have the story right, I was at a great marketing conference about 10 years ago, and people from Lego were there, and they talked about how one of the things that helped save this company, which was hurting, was this Lucasfilm license. But You have just completed. I guess you're completed, right? It comes out. It's going to be available to order on May 1st. This amazing book called The Force of Creativity. Tell us a little bit about the book and what we can expect to find in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you can imagine, from 99, then for 25 years, I've been buying Lego Star Wars sets. I've been so deeply embedded. It's so special to me because it kept me in Lego, and because it was such a fun way to access Star Wars. So this was an absolute dream project to me, for me to write this book. And the thing that I was sure about when I started on it was this should be a book for Lego fans who love Star Wars and Star Wars fans who love Lego. It should speak to kind of anyone, whichever kind of side of it is, the scales tip on for you personally. And we go into it. We go deep into how all of this Lego Star Wars experience comes to be. We start with like how Lego and Lucasfilm linked up, why both of them wanted to collaborate, what those early days were like, getting those first models out and everything. And then how the models are designed, how the guys sitting in Denmark come up with these amazing Lego creations, using this system of elements to recreate these things that we just love to see, on screen. And how the minifigures are designed, how the huge, crazy, big build experiences come to be, how the animated specials are made, how the video games were made. We go through absolutely all of the key aspects of Lego Star Wars and talk to the people who create them, who make them happen.
Now it's a 300-page book, right? It comes with this beautiful foldout. I just put the link in the chat for people to go check it out on the Lego site. It's this beautiful foldout with the Falcon and a Star Destroyer, and then there's also, if I understood it correctly, there's not necessarily schematics, but like different sort of individual. There's like a folder of individual sheets, correct?
Yeah. This thing's really cool. This is the time capsule that we've got with the book. And the idea is that as you're reading the book, the items in this time capsule will complement what you're reading about. So, as an example, Toy Fair 1999 in New York was the first time that Lego Star Wars had been shown to anyone, anywhere. So to invite toy buyers to that event, Lego sent out this little fold-out box that had a tiny diorama of Luke Skywalker fighting Darth Vader in it. And it was the first place anyone could get the Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader minifigures. As you can imagine, though, that was only sent out to toy buyers and select media. So it is exceptionally rare. Like, very few of them exist.
Right.
Like, no regular fan can own it. But it occurred to us, if we're going to do a time capsule that has artifacts from the history of Lego Star Wars, we can do a replica of that for people who buy the book. So there's a flat version of that box in there that you can fold up and create your own little scene to put in it with your own Lego. So we're kind of, and some of the items in there are prints that you can frame and put up on the wall alongside your Lego Star Wars sets. We've got building instructions in there that have never been made available before. So you can order the bricks online and build these things that up until now you've been able to build. Wow. It's we had so much fun coming up with stuff to put in that time capsule.
The fact that it has actual brick numbers is impressive. That's really cool. Okay. All right. You convinced me.
You got bricks in there, but the instructions are there. So you can get those bricks and build those things. And one of our models in there is the Yoda fountain that sits outside the Lucasfilm headquarters. There was a special employee gift set given out last year to Lucasfilm employees. And that's one of the things that we've got the instructions for. And I've checked, and all of those bricks are available to buy on Lego.com at the moment. So you can rebuild that model.
So is there a way that I can just give you money now? Or I really want that fountain. I ain't going to lie. I really want that fountain.
It's cool, too, that you go into, because I think so much I think, so when I was getting back into Legos, because I have, like I said, I have an 11-year-old son, not Legos, I'm sorry, Lego. I have an 11-year-old son, but I tried to use him as my excuse, and he's not as into it. But what he really got into was the Lego video games and the Star Wars Lego video games, and he loved like Freemaker and all the Lego shorts. Was that always was that more of a Lego marketing program or marketing approach, or is that a Star Wars storytelling approach, or How do they work together? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the video games there were basically a few guys who worked for Lego's video game arm in the early noughties who came up with this idea that they wanted to do a Lego Star Wars video game. But at the time, it was a tricky thing within Lego to keep making these video games. They felt that they needed to spin it off as a separate company that could just focus on this video game, that would be absolutely dedicated to making it. And Lego Star Wars was the first video game. I mean, it wasn't the first video game, but it was the first video game that like really put Lego video games on the map. It was the one that kicked things up a gear and really made people just want to grab a controller and get sucked into like being a minifigure, running around using the Force, wielding a lightsaber and everything. And these guys just landed on this formula. And again, in the book, we tell the story of just the random conversations they were having and the ideas they were throwing around, and just how it was just a bunch of game developers coming up with this. And it's gone on to be this long-running, never-ending franchise of Lego video games. You know, Marvel, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Batman, like every big Lego IP has kind of been transferred into a video game now. And yeah, like you say, it's just this massive entry point for children to get into Lego via video games.
Yep, for sure.
It's funny that you should actually say that video games are an entry point, because I got started on Lego with Lego chess.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I understand that a little bit more than you think. And
it's not as as Lego Star Wars, the video game, though, right? It was a different era of Lego video.
Lego chess to I think it was episode 2 was the first Lego game they ever put out for Star Wars. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like episode 2 or something like that. And that was what kicked off everything. It was actually the first video game I ever played.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So it speaks to me. So I guess that's going to kind of lead into this. Now, being as that you're around Lego pretty much 24/7, do you have a favorite Star Wars set and a favorite non-Star Wars set?
It's really tricky to pick a favorite, but if I have to choose one, it's got to be the Death Star that they did, where like the scenes are cut out of it.
Okay.
So that it's a sphere. It is the right shape for the Death Star, but literally it's got these cutouts that have all the different scenes from both the A New Hope Death Star and the Return of the Jedi Death Star. So you've got the Emperor's throne room, you've got a trash compactor, you've got the chasm swing and everything. And it's one of those sets that, like, in theory, you should build it over a few weeks or something, because it's a big, epic build. But once you start, it's just so hard to stop because it's so much fun and you see the whole thing coming together. And then once it's on display, you can't help but literally go and play with it. Like, and you just imagine if you'd had this thing when you were 8 years old, it would have just, you'd have played with it even more than you do as a grown-up.
I would never move it from the stand.
I'd
see
be
those
too
videos
afraid.
of people dropping their Star Destroyers, and I'm like, oh God. So, do you have a favorite non-Star Wars Lego set, though?
That one's easier. That one always has to be the big Black Seas Barracuda pirate ship from when I was a kid, because it was the one that I must have built, rebuilt, destroyed in sea battles and so many times. And that one's so special.
And now I have to ask just one off, because I spy with my little eye in that corner there. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the new TIE Interceptor.
Is it as big as the pictures make it out to be?
Can you hold it up? Can we see it?
If I dare move it.
Yeah, right. Don't drop it. Oh my God.
Oh man, my heart. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
Wow, the thing is massive.
The thing I love about the Lego Star Wars guys is they make even these big models for adults. They're swooshable. You can fly this thing around. Like, look, and nothing falls off. They're so talented. The fact that they can do this now is mind blowing. And this is a great example of how it's come in 25 years. 20 years ago, this model would have been a bit more fragile. Things might have fallen off if you'd done this, but now,
yep.
It's amazing.
That detail is incredible.
Yep. May the 1st, I will be ordering that and Graham's book.
Take my
so
money now. 'Cause
right, just take my I know that you're not always just writing books and building Legos. You also you said you're in magazine. Tell us a little bit about Blocks magazine.
Yeah, so Blocks is a monthly magazine that just covers everything about the Lego hobby. So if you love Lego, Blocks magazine is for you, basically. It's the next issue is our May the 4th special.
Okay.
That will be out at the end of April. And we've got like an awesome cover. I can't wait until we can share it with everybody because it's really nice. It's got the new Lego R2D2 set on the front. And inside, we've got the story of Lego Star Wars told through 25 sets from over the years. So we pick one model from each year that tells us something about the story of Lego Star Wars. And then alongside that, we've got like an interview with the guy who designed this TIE Interceptor. We've got an interview with Matt Denton, who did like a big 3D printed upscaled version of the Stormtrooper mech. We've got, some really fun Lego Star Wars stuff in it.
Wow.
Google Blocks magazine, you'll find it.
And is it available outside the UK?
Yeah, it should be available in Barnes & Noble and on our website at blocksmag.com.
Okay, awesome. And man, I hit my Barnes and Noble at least once a month, so I will be now. I have something new to look for, which is great.
I think waiting until July for the book. This is a nice thing to tide everybody over in the meantime. You get Blocks magazine for a smaller hit, and then you get the book in July, and it's all good.
So tell people about where they can order, when and where they can order the book. Is it only available on Lego.com?
It's exclusive to Lego.com. And you can pre-order it from May the 1st, and it will be available July 20th. And so it's not too long now. It's exciting to be at this point, that's for sure.
That's great. Was there anything that you learned while you were writing the book that you were just sort of like caught you by surprise? Something that you were like, oh, I didn't even think of. That was a surprise. I didn't think of that.
The thing that really amazed me was how quickly they did the first batch of Lego Star Wars sets. Because Lego and Lucasfilm were talking, and they didn't actually get the final agreement signed until February of 1998. Then they announced it April 98, and the first models were released March 99. Literally in a year, these guys worked like so quickly to get these models on time. And back then, it would have taken 2 to 3 years, for the development time of a Lego model, and especially for a new range of Lego sets.
Right.
So it really surprised me just how quick the turnaround was on that. That was pretty amazing.
It's like Kenner 2.0 from the original movie, but
that's right.
Fast forward.
Well, speaking of how quickly designing, how long did it take you to write this book, and what was the process?
It was a year-long project, and the process was read through all of my old notes, pull loads of old files out that were going to be useful to me, and then start talking to people as quickly as possible. Like, I spoke to as many people on the Lego Star Wars team as I could who actually work on the models and everything. I spoke to the guys who worked on the animated specials and things, some of the writers and so on. I just spoke to as many people as quickly as I could, so that then I could start writing and start getting the chapters together. Because it was quite a fast-paced project, but it was that's a really, really good way for me to work. It always seems to suit me. But there were some real treats along the way, though. Like I interviewed Anthony Daniels to talk about the Lego Star Wars animation because he has such a good perspective on like playing different iterations of C-3PO. Because of course he's been involved in it so long, he's played the character so long. He could really speak to the difference between C-3PO in a Lego Star Wars special versus C-3PO in the Star Wars movies. And then, Jens Kronvold Fredrickson is the design director on Lego Star Wars. I got him and Doug Chang together to have a conversation about design and everything, and about their different disciplines, about how their careers went and everything, how they got to where they did. And hearing like the similarities and differences between toy design and movie design, that was absolutely fascinating. And that's the prologue for the book. So it kind of gets you in the mindset for everything else that you're going to read about Lego Star Wars and the kind of behind the scenes stories.
That is, I was going to buy this book anyway, but the more you talk about it, the more I'm I'm excited about it. And I'm so thankful, Lloyd Nara. Thankful that you took the time to talk to us tonight about the book. Once again, you can get it only through Lego.com. It will go up for sale on May the 1st when some of the other exclusives go out that day. If you want it, you better be online on May the 1st to get it, because I can tell you this book is going to literally fly off the shelves. But Graham, where can people follow you online and keep up with you? And mention the magazine again, where we can find that online.
Yeah, if you go to blocksmag.com, so BLOCKS mag.com, that's where you can find Blocks magazine. We'll have our Star Wars issue out end of next week. And then you can follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, just search for Graham Hancock and I'll come up.
Excellent. Well, Graham, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast, and I hope that we get to talk to you again sometime. And I'll send you pictures when I'm finished up with the TIE Interceptor, so you can see where.
Please. Thank you both so much. This has been so much fun.
Thank you. We'll be back with more ATG Live.
And where will you be when the Toronto Maple Leafs next win the Stanley Cup?
Why are you doing this to me? Fun fact, Dave Filoni is a huge hockey fan too. He
Penguins,
loves hockey.
right?
Yeah. He's a homer. He loves the Penguins. In fact, I texted him last night after the Penguins got eliminated, say, hey, look, I'm sorry.
I'm sure there was a lot of emojis in return.
Yeah. Well, hey, he sent me. So here's the thing. He sent me a shirt. It's the Maple Leaf logo, and it says in the middle, "Just once before I die."
Oh my, come on.
So he sent that to me.
Come on.
So I just thought it would be fair if I just sent him a commiseration text saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry your team didn't make the playoffs this year."
So sweet.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Sun-Hyung Lee from The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. And I want to invite you to join me on May the 4th for the Podathon 2024, raising money for Make-A-Wish. You can give a new hope to kids who need it the most. May the 4th be wish you.
And we are back with ATG Live on a Thursday night, the only place you need to be on Thursday night if you want to talk about Star Wars and hang out with us. We appreciate it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Tell a friend, tell a family member. Buy a billboard. And just, wherever you live. If you live in Enid, Oklahoma, buy a billboard for ATG Live, and people, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get anybody to buy a billboard for us. But Lloyd, you're gonna order that book, aren't you? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was reading about it on the Lego website. Yeah. I was reading about it on the Lego website, and I was pumped. And then to hear him tell us what is in it, as far as the story with Doug Chang and the designer alone, is worth the price. And look, I didn't go into it with him on the it's an expensive book. It's $150. It's the price of the Lego Ghost set.
Yeah.
If you want. But I mean, if you're a Lego fan and a Star Wars fan, I love his perspective. It's so cool that he's a Star Wars fan and a Lego fan sort of equally. It kind of came out there.
Yeah, I was not expecting that answer, to be honest. I thought it would just been one or the other, and that's kind of where he started as a kid.
Yeah.
But hearing him just say, like, no, I started with Star Wars and then I went to Lego, I was like, oh, okay. That was not where I thought that was going to go.
That was great.
Yeah.
It was great. I'm psyched for that book. Well, we want to take a look through and see which comments we got from you. I know we did get a call from Matt from Enid, so let's hit intercepted transmissions.
Where are those transmissions you intercepted?
Now, if you're watching us, I know a lot of you are not leaving voicemails, but you all have things to say. The Bad Batch this week, Bad Batch has 2 weeks left. You got to have comments on that. But let's hear from Matt from Enid on his weekly story for us.
Hey, fellas, this is Matthew Needed. Hey, I had an impromptu, unplanned tale something that happened to me on Saturday. I was outside Saturday in the driveway working on my old golf cart and saying bad things, and a guy walked up to me with an Amazon delivery, and when I raised up, he seen my Star Wars shirt, and we started talking, and he was a big Star Wars fan, and turns out, I forgot to get his name, I think it was David, but he's he's a member of the 501st, and he was telling me about all the stormtrooper garb and how he makes stormtrooper outfits and all the weapons he does and everything else. And I was really nerding out, but I forgot to get his information, so he left, and I reached out to the local 501st here in Oklahoma. I'm hoping I can track him down and find the member, but I'm on it. But he's a really cool guy. He had made a lot of stormtrooper costumes for the 501st and really nerded out over my T-shirt, so it was nice to finally meet a decent Amazon driver. I don't know, but I'm going to track him down because I need to talk to him some more. All right. You guys have a good day. Bye.
This may be a good place to say that we do not take responsibility for the viewpoints of our listeners about Amazon drivers or otherwise. But I love those stories.
I love the 501st.
Yeah. Have you ever considered becoming a 501st member?
I did until I found out what the requirements were, and I was like, I ain't got time for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I would love to do it, but I don't have time to sit there for 100+ hours making a movie accurate replica of a costume.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I've thought about it, as you can tell by the helmets behind me, but I just don't. I think, I don't know. Maybe I got to do maybe a Dengar, something like that. Something that's not too much work. I don't have to be too. I'd always wanted to be a scout trooper when I was a kid, but those are also the skinniest of the stormtroopers, and frankly, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for me. But
see, I wanted to actually do Republic Commando. They allowed the commandos in there, and then I was like, nah. Just looking at the backpack alone and what you had to do to make it, I was like, no, I'm out. I can't.
I can't imagine looking through the visor, the lit visor. That's got to be like a.
It's not as bad as you think. Actually, I actually got to attend the 501st event.
Yeah,
and I asked him, I'm like, I'm sorry to ask, but can I try that on? I'm actually kind of curious how this works. And he goes, yeah, man, just be warned, it's freaking sweaty. I was like, nah, man, I got you. I put it on. It wasn't as bad as you thought. He actually wound up doing it somewhat smart. So he tinted the inside of the visor and left the LEDs on the outside pointing in. So it kind of phased it out a little bit. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as you think.
That's cool. Well, I don't know if we got any comments. I know you were busy co-hosting, so it was hard to watch the comments tonight. But
no, it was a quiet night. It was TW. He was in there, and
awesome.
Then Eric popped in at the last minute there. But yeah, it was a fairly quiet night. Nothing of note in the comment section.
All right.
Other than TW making fun of me from going from one empire to another, and other than that,
well,
quiet night.
Well, we got a couple weeks left before we go before Podathon, and next week we will have I can't recall exactly who we have next week, but I do know that May the 2nd. Now, ideally, so what's happening for Podathon? Nick, as you know, lives in Alabama, and I live in New Jersey, and so he's flying up from Alabama. We're going to do Podathon live from here. He's flying up May the 2nd. We're supposed to have Kyle Newman from our friend from gosh, why can't I think of the name of the movie? What's the oh my gosh, well, Disturbances in the Force, the documentary, and the what's the Star Wars nerd movie where they go out to see the Phantom Menace?
Oh,
Fanboys.
Yeah, Fanboys. Yep.
Anyway, Kyle's going to join us on May the 2nd. The question will be, will Nick be able to fly into a New Jersey airport without delay to get us here on time to start the show at 8:00? That is the plan for May the 2nd. So we should be in good shape there. But
believe, man, you got to manifest positive.
You got to believe. Exactly. Yes. Well, Lloyd, I think we'll cut it short a little bit tonight because it's been a fun show. It's been a great show. I have some Legos to order. That TIE Interceptor, seeing it, I wanted it, but now I went from wanting it to needing it. That's the problem.
I had to ask about it. I was like, I know it is, but I have to ask. Can we see it? Because I was like, I saw pictures. It looked big. That thing is big.
Yep.
Like that is a big Lego set.
It'll be fun.
What is it, like 1,000 pieces? 1,099 pieces?
I'm going to look it up. It's 1,900 pieces.
1,900. Oh,
pieces.
damn. Yeah, that's a weak build. Oh man. Okay.
That's not a Saturday afternoon sit down. Maybe I'll get it done before dinner.
It took me 3.5 hours to do one of these damn helmets. You think I'm going to do that in record time? No, man.
Well, my favorite build ever was the UCS A-wing. Yeah. And that I did that over like a couple weekends. I did a couple hours here, a couple hours there. But
like for reference, okay, it took me 3.5 hours for one of those helmets. It took me 9.5 for this model from Warhammer. 9.5 hours. I don't know if
that's why I don't paint it. That's why I don't do the painting stuff. I have the Flashpoint game for Star Wars, the tabletop game that I'm dying to try, but I'm not going to paint it. I'm not painting it. I'm not doing it. I'm
very nervous about the Interceptor, but I want it so damn bad.
You can get it. Just go ahead. Do yourself. You deserve it.
Do we know the price on it yet?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll look it up right now. I want to say
it's like 7.
No. I think it's only 220.
Really?
Let me look it up. Hold on. TIE Interceptor. Here we go. 229.
Oh, Cheyenne's gonna hate me, but I got to do it.
You got to do it. You got it. 229.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
She'll get over it.
And if you're a Lego Insider, that's 1,500 Lego Insider points. I don't know what that does for you, but
I don't know, but it's certainly a number.
It is a number. This is true.
Yeah.
Well, Lloyd, I think this is where we call it a night, and I say, may the Force be with you.
And I forgot the line. Oh,
it's
man.
It's always, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you another shot at it. We'll do it again. Lloyd, may the Force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.